The Visit by Ion Luca Caragiale. I went on St. John's Day to pay a visit to Mrs. Maria Popescu, an old friend, to congratulate her on the name day of her only son, Ionel Popescu, a very sweet little boy of about 8 years old. I didn't want to go empty-handed, so I brought the boy a very large rubber ball, very elastic. My attention greatly pleased my friend, and especially the child, whom I found dressed up as a major of cavalry, in full dress uniform. After the usual formalities, we began to talk about the weather, about the prospects of agriculture. Mr. Popescu, the father, is a great farmer, about the crisis, and so on. I remarked to Mrs. Popescu that she hadn't been seen much lately at promenades, at the theatre, or at social gatherings. She answered that lately even a woman gets tired of such entertainments, especially when she has children. To tell you the truth, when Ionel was very little, it was still possible, but now that he's a big boy, I must take care of him myself. I have to give him an education. And you men have no idea how much time it takes a woman to educate a child, especially when the mother doesn't want him to grow up without education. While Mrs. Popescu was expounding her sound opinions on child raising, we heard from the next room a hoarse old woman's voice. "Look, ma'am, Ionel won't keep still." "Ionel!" cried Mrs. Popescu. "Ionel, come to mother!" Then, turning to me softly, "You can't imagine what an urchin he's becoming, and so smart." But the voice from the other room added, "Ma'am, look, Ionel wants to knock over the coffee maker. Sit still or you'll burn yourself." "Ionel!" cried Mrs. Popescu again. "Ionel, come to mother." "Quick, ma'am, he's spilling the alcohol. It'll catch fire." "Ionel!" cried the mother once more, jumping up to go after him. But just as she was about to leave the room, the little major of cavalry appeared, sword drawn, blocking her path and taking a very martial pose. The mother took the major in her arms and kissed him. "Didn't I tell you not to go near the coffee maker when it's on the flame? If you catch fire, mother will die. Do you want mother to die?" "But," I interrupted, "for whom did you order coffee, Mrs. Popescu?" "For you." "Oh, why bother?" "Bother? Not at all." Mrs. Popescu kissed her little major again, spat lightly to ward off the evil eye, and set him down. He sheathed his sword, saluted smartly, and went to a corner of the room where, on two tables, on the sofa, on armchairs, and even on the floor, lay all sorts of toys. From among them the major chose a trumpet and a drum. He hung the drum around his neck, mounted a magnificent dappled horse, put the trumpet to his lips, and swaying in the saddle began to beat the drum with one hand and blow the trumpet with the other. Mrs. Popescu said something to me. I heard nothing. I nevertheless replied that I didn't think the hard frost would last much longer. She heard nothing either. "Ionel! Ionel! Ionel! Go in the other room, darling. You're breaking the gentleman's ears. It's not polite when we have guests." Taking advantage of a brief pause in the concert, I added, "And besides, you're a hussar, cavalry." "Major!" shouted the proud officer. "Exactly," I said. "In the cavalry there are no drums, and the major doesn't play the trumpet. Only lower ranks do that. The major commands and rides at the head of his soldiers with his sword drawn." My explanation was well received. The major dismounted, pulled the drum strap from his neck, and threw both drum and trumpet far away. Then he began to command, "Forward, march!" And with sword drawn, he started a fierce attack against everything in his path. At that moment, the hoarse old maid entered with a tray, bringing sweets and coffee. The major spotted her. The enemy! He paused a moment as if to collect himself before the assault. But the moment of reflection passed instantly, and the Major, letting out a terrible battle cry, charged the foe. The enemy gave a scream of despair. "Hold him, ma'am! He'll knock me down with the tray!" Mrs. Popescu rushed to intercept the Major, who, in the fury of attack, could no longer see anything before him. The maid was saved, but Mrs. Popescu, having had the imprudence to leave neutrality and intervene in the war, received under her right eye a powerful blow of the sword. See what happens when you misbehave? You nearly took my eye out. Would you like to kill me? Kiss me so it stops hurting, and I'll forgive you." The Major threw his arms around his mother's neck and kissed her. Mother was instantly cured, and I, after testing the jam, prepared to sip my coffee. "Does tobacco smoke bother you?" I asked Mrs. Popescu. "Oh, no, not at all. We smoke here. My husband smokes, and he does too," she said, smiling toward the little Major. "Ah," I said, "he smokes too?" Yes, he does. You should see how funny he looks with a cigarette in his mouth. You'd die laughing, like a grown man." "Ah, that's not good, Mr. Major," I said. "Tobacco is a poison." "Then why do you smoke?" interrupted the Major, busy stirring his jam. "Enough, Ionel, enough jam, darling. Your stomach will hurt again." The Major obeyed, after taking another 3 or 4 spoonfuls, then went out to the hall with the ball. "Where are you going?" asked his mother. "Be right back," he replied. After a moment he returned, the ball empty. He placed it on the table, approached me, took from the side table my case of royal cigarettes, took one out, put it in his mouth, and saluted me militarily, like any soldier asking a civilian for a light. I didn't quite know what to do. His mother, laughing, winked at me and urged me to oblige the little Major. I held out my lit cigarette. The soldier lit his from mine and, smoking like any officer, began pacing gravely back and forth. I couldn't admire him enough, while his mother spat again to ward off the evil eye and said, "Spit too, so you don't jinx him." The Major smoked his cigarette down to the cardboard tip. Then he rushed to the ball I had brought him and began throwing it around. The ball bounced up to the chandelier, disturbing the calm of the crystal fringes. "Ionel, stop it, darling. You'll break something. Do you want to upset me? Do you want Mother to die?" But the Major, angered by the rebellious cannonball that slipped from his hand, hurled it furiously against the floor. I raised the cup to my lips, but, as the French say, entre le coupe et le lèvre, the ball flew up and knocked the cup from my hand, scalding me with coffee that spilled over my duck egg-colored visiting trousers. "You see what you've done? Didn't I tell you to behave? You've upset the You see what you've done? Didn't I tell you to behave? You've upset the gentleman. Next time he won't bring you any toys." Then, turning to me kindly, "It's nothing. It'll come out. Coffee doesn't stain. It comes out with a little warm water." But she hadn't finished her sentence when suddenly I saw her face change with deep terror. She screamed and jumped from the chair. "Ionel, darling, what's wrong?" I turned and saw the Major, white as chalk, his eyes glazed, his sweet little face twisted. The mother rushed toward him, but before she could take a step, the Major collapsed flat on the floor. "Oh my God!" screamed the mother. "The child's ill! Help! He's dying!" I lifted the Major, quickly unbuttoned his collar and chest. "It's nothing," I said. "Cold water." I splashed him well, while the mother tore her hair. "See, Mr. Major," I asked him, "didn't I tell you that tobacco isn't good? Don't smoke again." I left Mrs. Popescu calm again, with her dear little Major out of all danger, and took my leave. I put on my shoes and my coat and I left. When I got home, I finally understood why the Major had gone out for a moment to the hall with a bowl of jam. It was to pour the jam into my shoes. If you want to hear more Romanian stories, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mamaspune.